Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today with a message that will touch your heart, a message that will stir your soul. Because I believe with all my heart that age is not just a number, it's a testimony. It's a reflection of something far greater than genetics, far deeper than skincare. It's the evidence of how we live, how we love, and who we trust. Many people ask, why do some look younger than their years? Why does one person glow with life while another seems worn? And today I want to give you 7 hidden reasons, 7 truths that shape not only your appearance but your very being. There is something about a person at peace that cannot be imitated. You can see it in their eyes, in the way they carry themselves, in the calmness of their words. While the world rushes around, burdened by stress and anxiety, they remain steady, unmoved by the storms of life. Peace is not merely the absence of trouble. It is the presence of something greater, something deeper that settles the soul and keeps the heart young. Many people spend their lives searching for peace, believing they will find it in wealth, success, or relationships. They think if they can control their circumstances, they will finally be at rest. But time and time again, they find that no amount of money, no position of power, and no human relationship can fully satisfy the restless heart. Worry creeps in like a thief, stealing joy, weighing down the body and aging the spirit. Stress is one of the greatest enemies of youthfulness. It tightens the muscles, burdens the mind, and even changes the appearance of a person. The weight of constant anxiety creates furrows on the forehead, a heaviness in the eyes, and a weariness in the soul. Sleepless nights, troubled thoughts, and a racing heart take their toll, not just inwardly but outwardly as well. Many who look far older than their years have carried stress so long that it has reshaped them. But those who have peace walk differently. Their faces are lifted, their spirits light. They do not carry unnecessary burdens because they have learned to let go. They have found a source of strength greater than their own understanding. Their trust is placed not in the shifting sands of circumstance, but in something unshakable. Their hearts are not troubled by what they cannot control because they rest in the assurance that all things are in greater hands. A peaceful heart does not mean a life without difficulty. The storms still come, the trials still arise, but those who have peace are not consumed by them. They know how to quiet their souls in the midst of chaos. They do not allow fear to dictate their steps or worry to cloud their vision. Instead, they walk with confidence, with clarity, with a quiet assurance that radiates from within. You have likely met someone like this, someone who, despite hardships, carries a sense of calm. Perhaps you have seen an elderly person whose eyes shine with a youthful light, whose laughter comes easily, whose presence brings comfort. Their secret is not in a beauty product, not in a special diet, but in the peace they have cultivated in their hearts. This kind of peace is not something that can be bought. It is something that must be received. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces that can shape a person's life, not just internally, but even in their outward appearance. A thankful heart carries a lightness that cannot be replicated by material possessions, success, or physical beauty alone. There is a difference between a person who wakes up each day with appreciation and one who rises with complaints on their lips. The way a person views their life, the attitude they cultivate in their heart, has a direct impact on how they carry themselves, how they speak, and even how they look. The world is full of people who have everything yet feel they have nothing. They spend their days longing for more, never satisfied, always comparing, always feeling as if something is missing. This dissatisfaction weighs on them, etching lines of frustration and discontent on their faces. The constant desire for what is just out of reach breeds stress, and stress is one of the fastest ways to drain a person's vitality. Those who live with an ungrateful heart often find themselves restless, always searching, never content. Their lack of appreciation steals the joy from their days, and joy is one of the greatest gifts a person can carry if they desire to stay youthful and full of life. On the other hand, there are those who have little yet seem to possess everything. They do not measure their lives by what they lack, but by what they have. Instead of complaining about what is missing, they give thanks for what is present. This attitude changes everything. It affects their expressions, their tone of voice, and even the way they interact with the world around them. They are not weighed down by bitterness or resentment, and this freedom reflects in their posture, their energy, and their glow. Scientific studies have even shown that gratitude can reduce stress, improve sleep, and enhance overall well-being. A grateful person has a heart that is less burdened by worry and more focused on the good in their life. When the mind and heart are at peace, the body follows. Gratitude releases tension, allowing a person to move through life with a sense of ease rather than strain. Their smile comes naturally, their laughter flows freely, and these things have a direct impact on how young they appear. There is something undeniably attractive about a person who is genuinely thankful. They do not carry an air of entitlement, nor do they drain those around them with constant negativity. Instead, they bring an atmosphere of joy and contentment wherever they go. They find beauty in the simple things, a sunrise, a kind word, a shared meal. Their appreciation for life itself makes them more vibrant, more engaging, and ultimately more youthful. A complaining heart will wear a person down, but a thankful heart lifts them up. The secret is not in what a person owns, but in how they see the world. The most youthful people are not those who have the best of everything, but those who make the best of everything they have. Self-control is one of the most overlooked yet powerful forces in shaping not only a person's character, but also their outward appearance. A disciplined life is one that maintains balance, avoiding excesses that lead to both physical and emotional burdens. Those who practice self-control in what they eat, what they say, how they react, and how they live often find themselves healthier, more energetic, and more youthful than those who live without restraint. In a world that constantly pushes indulgence, self-control stands as a quiet but undeniable strength. It is easy to give in to every craving, every impulse, and every fleeting desire, but those who do often find themselves weighed down, not just in body, but in spirit. Overindulgence in food leads to sluggishness. Overindulgence in anger leads to bitterness. And overindulgence in entertainment leads to a lack of purpose. The body and mind respond to these excesses, showing signs of wear and fatigue far earlier than they should. A person who practices self-control in their eating habits, for example, naturally carries a different kind of energy. They do not feel the constant ups and downs of sugar crashes. They are not weighed down by overeating, and they do not treat food as an escape from life's difficulties. Instead, they nourish their body with what it needs, not what temporary cravings demand. This results in clearer skin, a more vibrant complexion, and an overall sense of vitality that cannot be faked. But self-control is not just about food. It extends to emotions, speech, and even how one spends time. Those who allow anger to control them often find themselves aged by stress, their faces marked by tension, and their bodies carrying the effects of ongoing frustration. Harsh words spoken in haste create unnecessary conflict, stealing peace and joy, which in turn affect a person's overall demeanor. On the other hand, those who have learned to control their temper, to think before they speak, and to respond with patience rather than reactionary anger carry a different presence. They remain calm in storms, composed in difficulties, and steady when life throws unexpected challenges their way. Time management is another aspect of self-control that impacts youthfulness. A life spent wasting time on meaningless distractions leads to regret and a feeling of unfulfillment. Those who lack discipline in their daily routines often find themselves exhausted, always chasing after the next thing, but never truly satisfied. In contrast, those who structure their time wisely, who prioritize what truly matters, and who set boundaries for rest and productivity live with a greater sense of purpose. This clarity of mind and direction preserves energy and prevents the emotional exhaustion that can make a person feel older than their years. Laughter is one of the greatest gifts a person can carry through life. It is a force that lifts the spirit, heals the heart, and even preserves the body. A joyful heart does something that no expensive beauty product, no strict diet, and no exercise routine can accomplish on its own. It brings a vibrancy that makes a person appear younger, more alive, and more full of energy. There is a noticeable difference between someone who carries a sense of joy and someone who is weighed down by constant seriousness, worry, or negativity. The way a person smiles, the way they laugh, the way they embrace the lighter side of life, all contribute to an aura of youthfulness that cannot be manufactured. Life is filled with difficulties, and no one is immune to hardship. But those who have learned to laugh in the midst of challenges carry a resilience that keeps them from becoming worn down by the weight of troubles. Stress is one of the leading causes of premature aging, and laughter is one of the simplest, most effective antidotes. When a person laughs, their body releases endorphins, stress levels decrease, and the heart is filled with a sense of relief. A person who laughs often is less likely to be burdened by tension, and this freedom reflects in their physical appearance. Some people take life so seriously that they rob themselves of joy. They are constantly burdened by what could go wrong, by the mistakes of the past, or by the uncertainties of the future. This constant weight leaves marks on their face, but those who allow themselves to experience laughter, who embrace moments of joy, who do not take every situation as a crisis, move through life with a sense of lightness that makes them appear younger and more refreshed. A person's ability to laugh is often tied to their outlook on life. Those who focus only on problems, disappointments, and failures find very little reason to smile. But those who can find humor, even in the simple, everyday moments of life, carry an energy that keeps their spirit young. They do not let minor inconveniences steal their peace, nor do they allow fear to consume them. They know how to find beauty and happiness in the small things, and this perspective preserves their joy. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful ways to keep the heart light and the spirit youthful. A person who holds on to bitterness, resentment, or anger unknowingly places a heavy burden upon themselves. These emotions do not just affect the mind and heart, they manifest physically, weighing a person down, clouding their expressions, and even taking a toll on their health. The difference between someone who carries the weight of unforgiveness and someone who has learned to release it is undeniable. One walks with heaviness, their energy drained by grudges, while the other moves through life with a sense of freedom that keeps them refreshed and full of life. There is a direct connection between emotional health and physical well-being. Studies have shown that holding on to resentment increases stress, raises blood pressure, and weakens the immune system. The body responds to the emotions the heart carries. A person who constantly revisits past hurts, who replays painful memories, who allows bitterness to take root, will often feel more exhausted, more anxious, and more burdened than they should. This internal tension reflects outwardly in the lines of their face, in the way they carry themselves, and in the energy they bring into a room. On the other hand, those who practice forgiveness experience a lightness that cannot be explained by physical means alone. They are not weighed down by the offenses of others, nor do they allow past wounds to control their present and future. Their hearts remain open, their minds unburdened, and their spirits free to embrace joy. Forgiveness is not about excusing wrongdoing or pretending pain never happened. It is about choosing to let go, refusing to allow bitterness to dictate one's life. Those who forgive understand that holding on to anger does not harm the other person nearly as much as it harms themselves. There is a visible peace in people who have released resentment. They do not carry tension in their eyes. They do not have the hardened expressions that come from years of unresolved anger. Their faces remain soft, their voices carry warmth, and their presence brings comfort rather than hostility. Even in old age, those who have lived a life of forgiveness often appear younger than their years, their spirit untouched by the damage that comes from harboring resentment. Forgiveness also strengthens relationships, and strong relationships are one of the greatest contributors to a youthful spirit. Those who hold grudges often find themselves isolated, separated from the very people who could bring them joy and companionship. But those who forgive easily, who do not dwell on offenses, who choose love over resentment, create bonds that bring lasting happiness. There is something unmistakable about a person who carries the presence of God in their life. It is a light that shines from within, a peace that cannot be shaken, a joy that does not fade with time. While the world chases after beauty that is fleeting, those who walk closely with God find that their strength is renewed, their spirit remains vibrant, and their very presence reflects something beyond themselves. This is not a beauty that comes from outward adornment, but from an inner radiance that only comes from walking in the presence of the one who never grows weary, never fades, and never changes. Many spend their lives searching for something to fill the emptiness they feel inside. They look for meaning in achievements, relationships, and possessions, yet they find that none of these things can fully satisfy. There is always another goal to reach, another desire to chase, another void to fill. This constant striving takes a toll, wearing down the body, draining the spirit, and leaving a person feeling exhausted and aged. But those who dwell in the presence of God are not driven by the anxieties of the world. They are not consumed by the pressures of proving themselves or keeping up with ever-changing standards. Instead, they find rest in something greater, something eternal, and this rest preserves their joy, their peace, and even their strength. Stress is one of the greatest causes of premature aging. It etches lines of worry on the face, burdens the heart, and drains the energy of those who carry it. But those who trust in God do not live under the weight of constant fear and anxiety. They know that their future is secure, that they are cared for, that they are not alone. This trust allows them to walk with a confidence that is not dependent on circumstances. Even in the face of trials, they remain steady, their hope unshaken, their spirit unburdened. This peace reflects in their demeanor, in their expressions, and in the very way they carry themselves. There is a distinct energy in people who spend time in the presence of God. They do not live with a restless striving, nor do they carry a heaviness of heart. Their joy is not based on fleeting pleasures, but on something unmovable. This joy makes them approachable. Their peace makes them comforting to be around, and their love makes them a source of light in the lives of others. They are not constantly searching for the next thing to bring them fulfillment because they have already found the source of true life. A heart filled with purpose carries a kind of energy that no amount of wealth or luxury can replicate. There is a vibrancy in those who wake up each day knowing that their life has meaning beyond themselves. A person with purpose moves differently, speaks differently, and carries themselves with a sense of drive and enthusiasm that makes them appear younger and more alive. While many drift through life without direction, those who have found their calling, whether big or small, radiate a sense of fulfillment that keeps their spirit strong and their heart full of life. One of the quickest ways to feel old, tired, and disconnected is to live without purpose. Those who lack direction often find themselves weighed down by monotony, feeling as though they are merely existing rather than truly living. This leads to a dullness both in the mind and in the body. When a person has nothing to look forward to, nothing to strive for, nothing that ignites their passion, they slowly begin to lose their enthusiasm for life. The absence of purpose brings exhaustion that no amount of sleep can cure, a restlessness that no vacation can fix, and a dissatisfaction that lingers no matter how much they try to distract themselves. On the other hand, those who have a reason to wake up each morning carry a different energy. They are not simply counting the days, they are making the days count. Whether their purpose is serving others, creating something meaningful, building a family, pursuing a dream, or making the world a better place, they live with a fire inside them that keeps them moving forward. This inner drive affects every part of their being, their posture, their expressions, their health, and even their appearance. A person who is passionate about life naturally exudes a youthfulness that cannot be faked. Science has shown that having a sense of purpose is directly linked to better health and longevity. People who live with purpose tend to have lower stress levels, better mental health, and even stronger immune systems. Their minds remain sharp, their bodies more resilient, and their spirits more engaged. When a person is excited about something, whether it is their work, their faith, their relationships, or a cause they believe in, their body responds with energy and vitality. Purpose is not about fame, wealth, or recognition. It is about knowing that your life matters, that your actions have meaning, and that you are contributing something valuable to the world. Those who understand this do not fall into the trap of feeling irrelevant as they age. They continue to learn, to grow, to give, and to seek new ways to make a difference. Their enthusiasm does not fade because they are not chasing temporary pleasures but lasting impact. This keeps their minds engaged, their hearts full, and their bodies active. Aging is not simply a matter of years, it is a reflection of how one lives. Those who walk in purpose do not fear time, for they are too busy fulfilling their mission to worry about how many days they have left. Their passion sustains them, their vision propels them, and their sense of meaning keeps them forever young at heart.